Hey guys, sorry, I'm a little late on this video. I've been a little under the weather. My wife got sick and I think I'm finally catching it. My throat hurts so bad today. But if you're new to the channel, I'm Vengensir. Welcome. If you've been here before,
I do as you command.
welcome back. I skipped doing the pacifist video on Saturday. I just, after watching the Heidel ball, I really didn't feel like playing, and I still kind of don't. So my reaction to the Heidel ball might be, maybe some of you had the same reaction, maybe some of you didn't, but I want to talk about it, and then I'll resume regularly scheduled programming as it's supposed to be over the course of the next few days, as long as I'm feeling well enough to sit here and record. So, Idle Ball. This game is becoming too much. It just really is. So, new regions, that's fine and all. New, weapons. The sovereign weapons, that seems rather ridiculous. Fallen God weapons were supposed to be a thing, and I understand that, and that's fine, but the fact that they can be enhanced to plus 10 instead of going from base to pen, now you go all the way to deck, which is 10 instead of 5. I don't understand that, really. Missed these. So we have a piece of gear. We enhance it all the way to plus 15. I don't know what the obsession is with plus 15. But a lot of games do that. Plus 15. Cool. Then you have 6 more levels. Pride, or 5 more, I guess. So 15 to Pride, to Duo, to Try, to Tet, and to Pen. Cool, you got your gear at Pen. No, wait. Now you need another item to combine with it, and it starts over at base. Okay, 5 more levels.
Within your allowed space, of course.
And that's the Fallen God stuff. Oops, not Calpheon. I dump all my farming stuff in Trent. And I don't know. It just feels weird to me. I'm gonna bring it up on the other screen here in a sec. I don't know where it's at. GM notes, maybe? Yeah. Now, granted, this is just a recap. Just a recap, but laying out the next 10 years of the game, cool and all. Land of the Morning Light Seal, it sounds fantastic, you know, but it's going to be more of the same of Land of Morning Light Part 1. It's going to be all story driven, so you're going to have 20 hours worth of R spamming to do. Cool, there's a new class, Dosa. It looks like samurai, I guess, kind of. I don't know how interested I am in there, because the summons that he does that I saw just kind of look like a gimmicky thing, to where they're not actually summons, they're just basically animations for a skill. Palace management, this is where I kind of got discouraged, disappointed. They're putting in things that are fixes to issues that should have never been. So the palace management you'll have after you unlock everything. It's going to offer automated processing and trade that adventurers usually do manually. That sounds like the fact that their life skilling is so convoluted now, and the processing never really bothered me, you know. But now we're going to have auto processing. Um, does your processing mastery even take into account anymore, or is it like our current system? Primordial weapons, sovereign. These are the new weapons. So to even get them, you're gonna need to combine a black star weapon or a primordial flame. The primordial flame you can only get from Black Shrine, which I'm assuming is probably like C8 through C10 or something. Or you can combine two pen black star weapons. That's already expensive. For somebody that is gear capped at in game, or somebody like me, I've already got all three pen black stars, and they're giving away a free one. So that means I'm immediately going to have a sovereign main hand weapon, and then I have to enhance it to plus 10. Sub weapons they didn't say anything about, so I pretty much just need one more pin Awakening Black Star, which I was kind of working on anyway. I was going to sell this one, but since now I have to combine two of them, might as well just finish it out and then have the weapons done before I can even get Pen Debreka. The last one, you can do a C20 boss weapon on Pen Black Star and then a Gem of Twilight, which is whatever. But they have total 10 enhancements, which go from Pry all the way to Deck, which is 10. So 1 through 10. The difficulty level is going to increase. So with each one, so it's going to be on par with Slumbering Origin armors, which is like the Fallen God, the Ader's Shoes, Dawn's Gloves, and Labruska Helm. But it says it's going to be more balanced. And these are basically like weapons that are going to allow you to select custom stats, so they don't just have a set stat like the Black Stars do. I already mentioned they're giving away Pen Black Star, which they need to do something. I mean, yeah, I went ahead and pushed and got all three Pen Black Stars, and it's cool. And if you're a veteran player, it probably feels like they're undermining your efforts. But the catch up, the gear score, the gap in gear score between mid game and severe in game, you know, when there's a few certain things that when you hit that wall where you need Pen Black Stars to go further in gear score, or you need Pen Deberekas, they need to close that gap and make that transition a little bit better. The Termian event, cool. I don't really care about the outfits. You know, that's to sell. I didn't really hear much about this as a Jordan saga. I don't know. Decia's Lantern, I'm disappointed with. They're adding a tier 2 to have at least a gear score of 750, and then they're putting in some more tier 1 monster zones. They're adding in Cadres, Gyphon, Crescent, and Miramak. I am so disappointed. I wanted Medea so badly. I love the music in Medea, and I like the region. I wish they would have added in some areas in there that we could grind in that were Decia, instead of a couple of Valencia zones on the edge and then moving straight to trees in Camasilvia or the bottom of Calpheon. You know, they're doing zones over here instead of Medea, which Balanos, Serendia, Calpheon, Medea, Camasilvia, Draken, Valencia. Isn't that how it goes? Why did we skip Medea? I don't understand it, man. Like, rework Abandoned Iron Mine. That was such a cool place to grind. Mains and Helm's Post were huge grind spots back in, like, the release of the game. Sawsons, like, do the Decia spots for them. These accessories, the Assaddle accessories to give you like custom builds, they have unique skills. They're going to be dead on arrival. Nobody uses the Tabek belt. It was busted for over a year and a half before they even fixed it when it was upon release. What makes us think it's going to be any different for these? Really dumb. Guild trait system, that's going to probably be dead on arrival except for like three top guilds, you know. It's like, oh well, Show Nation's gonna have the flying dragon, so nobody else is gonna be able to partake in that content. Congratulations, you made dead on arrival stuff. If you want to select 3 different traits, PvP, PvE, and life skill, that way your guild can align. Maybe you're gonna get different like benefits or honor elements. Most guilds probably are not even going to participate in that. They're just not going to be big enough. If you're a casual guild, you kind of get shoved under the rug. The hardcore server is a band-aid fix to the gutted PvP system that they have that they've done. You know, they've tried to rework PvP and they've kind of just botched it. And so now they're going to put a hardcore season, basically a season always PvP on type of thing where you can't even see other people's family names. So it's basically you're going to be gear capped basically, and it's going to be PvP all the time, which is what the game should have been to begin with. You know, it should be PvP all the time. I don't care. You sell your game as this thing, and then you gut the things that sell your game. PS5 version updates. Cool, you're wasting dev time and resources porting to a next-gen console when you haven't even released most of the content on the current, well, used to be current console versions. Stupid. Mountain of Dawnbreak I was actually excited for. I don't care so much for the 100 floor dungeon. But I really liked Mountain of Eternal Winter, and I hope part 2 is cool. Demonland. Is somebody seeing a little bit of a problem here? I mean, I find this utterly stupid. There's going to be a lot of people that are excited for this region, but when they realize that it's going to be just like Land of Morning Light and it's a big castle you're going to do stories to and then never visit again, they're going to be very disappointed. So I'll tell you why I'm disappointed here in a little bit. And then this is the dumbest thing I've seen yet. We're going to the past. We're going back before the Black Desert was. Okay, it's cool to unfold lore. It's a good way to unfold some game lore, but nobody gives a crap about the lore because you've pushed the game to the point where it's a grind. It's a grind only. So the reason I'm upset about this, or I wouldn't say upset, it's just I'm kind of jaded about it, is that Black Desert, when it first came out, was sold as an MMORPG. It is no longer that. It's an MMO arcade game. They're dumbing down all the systems. The RPG elements are gone. There's no build diversity within the classes. They're trying to band-aid fix that with weapons that have selectable stats that are still abysmal and accessories that are going to be dead on arrival. So the RPG elements are gone. Life skilling has been... The trading was gutted on life skilling because they couldn't figure out how to make that work. Haven't had any new systems for life skilling in a long time. No new recipes since Land of Morning Light, and those recipes were dead on arrival anyway, except for people like me that are doing challenges. If you're high up in life skilling as far as cooking and alchemy goes, you don't do Land of Morning Light Imperial recipes because they're 1-to-1, and your mastery cannot make you get multiple procs, so those recipes are dead on arrival. There's not much to gather over there. I'm having a tough time with that. The region's dead on arrival, so you know, nothing new in terms of life scaling really for years. The RPG elements are gone. Black Desert is an arcade mobile game at this point on PC. We got a lot of flashy animations. We got great combat. That gives you carpal tunnel syndrome. DPS is tied to FPS, which is a problem. They're putting their dev team to work in things that push Korean fantasy themes, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that, but when NA is driving your profits and you release to them as an afterthought, it becomes a problem. Sorry, my throat hurts, so bear with me. My voice is getting a little messed up. It's probably not going to go on too long. I'm not trying to rant, but I'm just putting out how I see things going. Right, the other thing. So we can't have traditional MMORPG fantasy style themes. We can't have other races. We can't have other mounts. There's horses and donkeys only. Elephants and camels were thrown in as an afterthought. Donkeys were even thrown in as an afterthought. So we have horses. We can't have any type of mount like rhinoceroses, kangaroos for the plains, fantasy mounts, flying mounts, dragons. We can't have any of that stuff. No. Can't have traditional fantasy style races. We can't have any other. It's all Korean-based human races, aside from the one-off berserker giants, but we don't get elves, we don't get orcs, we don't get dwarves, we don't get stone men, traditional fantasy style stuff, and that's fine if that's the way they want to design their game, but they need to advertise it for what it is. Don't keep pushing this RPG element. Look at it how it is, rebrand it, because you're misrepresenting, and it's starting to, for people like me that like the traditional fantasy RPGs, we're starting to get tired of it. And your gear treadmill is a problem. You can't have a fake RPG. It is an arcade action game with mobile style RPG elements, and most of the RPG elements in this are micromanaging systems, which is a very mobile minded style of play. Collect your resources once a day, click on your workers once a day, that kind of stuff. Do your farms once a day. I mean, it's like they've turned it into basically a mobile game, and they have a mobile version. I don't understand why they're trying to do that. The story feels very, and the quests feel very afterthought, and it's like you guys put all your eggs into the combat basket, and now you're trying to rework PvP, which the DR evasion changes were good, and classes are working as they're supposed to now. So DR classes are actually tanky. Evasion is working okay, but not over the top. And damage is going to be a problem, so now they're band-aid fixing it with capping it in season to make it fun until they figure it out, which is fine. They'll figure it out. That's okay. But we need build diversity. Usually when you have super tanks, you have damage over time builds that are able to tick down those huge health pools and get around that. With PvP balance, you're going to have high AP So it's kind of like a trinity. You have high AP, full damage classes. Well, tanks counteract that because tanks can usually jump on them, and the high AP classes are usually like full damage builds are usually squishy. The tanks counteract that, but in turn, the tanks need to be counteracted with damage over time builds, and then damage over time builds are pretty. They don't do a huge amount of burst damage, so the AP, the full damage builds counteract them because they can burst them down. And so it's kind of a cycle. Well, we don't have any of that build diversity in Black Desert, so tanks are going to rule PvP until they figure that out. And these new weapons maybe are a way to address that. I don't know, but this is ridiculous right here on the screen. Having 10 enhancement levels. So now you have 15. You have to have combined two weapons that are basically plus 20, and then you have another 10. So you get plus 30 weapons at this point, which is just ridiculous. I get that the gear treadmill, whatever you want to call it, has to keep going, so that you always have a carrot to dangle. That's how these MMORPGs work, but at some point you got to take a step back and say it's just not worth it anymore. What are we pushing the end game for? I don't know. A lot of people may disagree with me, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but this is the way I see the game going and the direction I don't like. I just don't like it. We're going to, over the course of the next few years, finish out Land of Morning Light 2, and then probably Mountain of Eternal Winter 2, and then whatever this knockoff evil Disneyland is supposed to be. And they'll keep releasing Dekia zones to fill in and keep the high-end people grinding. A lot of console players are probably going to quit, I would say. But this looks like they're calling it Demon Land. It looks like something that would be in a fantasy-style RPG, and that is not what Black Desert is. They're all over the place. Just all over the place. The medieval stuff worked for them, and then Land of Morning Light came out, and it was very evident that it's all based on Korean fantasy. And that is fine if you're a Korean player, but for the West, people really don't care about that, you know? And that even fit in with having a region across the ocean that is all that based. That is fine. That fits in great. But having like random fantasy stuff thrown in here that's going to be like this big old like demon castle, that doesn't fit in at all. And then I haven't done Ulukita or any of that stuff yet, but Mountain of Eternal Winter 2, which is probably down here, the rest of the bottom of the map down here, that is fogged out, even like past what I haven't unlocked because I haven't been down that far. I just really haven't messed with grinding those areas yet. But the Mountain of Eternal Winter 2, Part 2 or whatever will fit fine. But the fantasy like Demon Land stuff it's going to be up here. It just does not fit in to Black Desert World at all. And then this year, the back in the past. So we can't have any type of modern technology. We don't have a gunner class at all. We don't have traditional fantasy stuff. Like, I know Necromancer has been talked about a lot. Well, the reason they haven't done that kind of thing is because Black Desert doesn't know how to handle summons well at all. The Awakened Wizard summons are terrible. They're basically just something that follows an annoying sound that follows you around and adds damage to your current skills. They don't fight on your behalf very well. I mean, they do, but they don't do enough to actually like have you sit back and have your pets kill stuff. You know, like the tamer doesn't work very well either. Usually a ranger would have like a couple of summons. It's just it's just a clustery mess. And now to go and make it to where you have time travel through the Magnus, that's kind of a fantasy thing too. It's just it's almost like, oh look, this looks like a cool idea. Let's just throw it in the game. It doesn't actually fit the theme or anything. That being said, I did the other day say I liked Kama Sylvia very, very much, and I just don't like the tree centaurs. At Ronaros. I liked Ronaros. I just hated killing the centaurs over there. They needed some monster diversity. So seeing grasslands and jungle style stuff and a big underwater city might be nice, but the underwater mechanics of Black Desert are awful. Swimming is awful. So like getting down there, just like in Sakurai underwater, it's going to be the same thing probably. Is you swim down to it or port down to it, and then that's it. You're under the water in the air, just like underwater Sakurai. It's not actually going around, just like the Sea Palace, those types of things. So it's a gimmick, oh yeah, we have a giant underwater city. Well, okay, you went underwater, but what's under there? You can't have like combat in the water because you don't have water combat. So it's basically just a gimmick. It's like, okay, it's underwater, but it's just like every other place. Cool, we're gonna have fountains and decorations and stuff, and if we have monsters down there, they might resemble like underwater stuff like fish or mermaids or something. But it's very gimmicky, and if it's a city, you're probably not gonna see combat, so it's just gonna be another dead location. That's the problem with these style of games is, especially ones that are centered around combat. There's no reason to visit most of the locations in the map after you've done the story, and the story has always been mediocre and an afterthought. It's like why most people are spam through Land of Morning Light and then never visit it ever again. Because once you unlock the few little things like the extra orbs and the extra family stats, the DP, and a couple of other things like Green Thumb and the fish tank from the Sea Palace, there's no reason to ever go up there unless you're a life skiller that does trade crates. And then you're traveling up there once every other month or something to do crates. So I don't know, guys. It's looking bleak. The new weapons, there's always going to be new gear to chase. There's always going to, seeing the new zones is going to be cool for about 15 minutes, and then after that, it's like, well, this is old news. The excitement's worn off. The outfits are always nice if you're into that kind of thing. They need some stuff in the game to make them money, so they're always going to release new outfits, and that's fine. That's expected. You have to monetize your game in some way, and I'm perfectly happy with them releasing new outfits every other week. Put your dev time into that. Keep the game free by releasing outfits that people like. They'll buy them when they want them. That's great. That is a great business model, and monetizing your character's looks. I mean, I'm okay with that. I wouldn't buy these outfits. I'm not into that. I'm just not. Now give us something that looks like that. I want a nice cape for my wizard. I would buy a nice cape for my wizard if they released it. Release us some good Dekia zones in the places that matter. Give us some more Kama Sylvia places. We don't care about Gyphon. Miramach Ruins, maybe I'll visit that place. But you gotta remember these are tier 1 monster zones, so if you're over 730 gear score, you're going to be looking at tier 2 stuff, which is going to be later on. But it says they're to keep you from, they're even taking grinding away. So they're targeted veterans to ensure you don't spend too much time in monster zones. Tier 2 will have So you're gonna do weekly quests and that's it. They don't want you to spend too much time in monsters. And then what the hell do they want you to do? Again, accessories with special things sound nice, but whenever you realize that it's got a huge cooldown, like the Tabex belt, it's got a big cooldown. Somebody said the necklace was like HP based, so it's gonna recover or give you HP. That's gonna be dead on arrival. Nobody Nobody needs huge amounts of HP recovery. We don't have HP pools that are big enough, right? I don't know. I think I've thoroughly went over everything and my thoughts on stuff. I wish that they would put more time into maybe developing other races and actually make this an RPG again. Give us some more life skill stuff instead of taking away. Like right now, we work to get all this processing mastery, and now you're going to give us automated processing, and you're going over trade again that you gutted, reworked, it failed, and you removed. Like, don't do that. Stop wasting resources. The original trade system was fine. People didn't do it, but I don't know. I'm glad to see a new male class. It's not something that I'm going to play because I have two modes. I either go full tank or I go full magic, and the Berserker hasn't really appealed to me. I liked Awakened Warrior, but I never picked it up. And now that I'm put so much time into my Wizard, I'm just going to stay on the Wizard. If they come out with a new magic class, maybe I'll swap. But they need to rework the old classes. And I don't mean like completely overhaul them. I mean just get them up to par. Their animations are slow and clunky. My Wizard's animations are so slow and clunky. And I do subpar damage. I'm barely pulling average trash. You know, I mean, if I run an Agris coin at Gyfin, I'm pulling 38,000 trash, and there's other classes that are pulling like huge amounts more. So just work on what you got. You did things right to begin with. Yeah, the game was super hard, and that was the appeal of it. We wanted it to be hard. We wanted it to be slower paced. We wanted it to have RPG elements. We don't want it to be an arcade mobile game. Maybe I just have a very, maybe my opinion is just that of the minority. Maybe, I don't know. But the outfits are great. The events are great. More Dekia regions are great. Story is always good, but dead on arrival accessories no one's going to use because in PvE to get 750 gear score you're going to need, like, it's 32 AP. Pin Deberekas give 40 AP. You're losing 8 AP for HP recovery or something. Ridiculous. Plus you're losing the Deberekas set, so nobody's going to do that in PvE. Maybe in PvP, but I don't know. I don't think that they will. I think it's going to be dead on arrival. There's been some other stuff that they have hinted at, like it was like 5-player stuff for guild things, which having more group content is good. I don't have a bad opinion of that. They haven't done it well in the past, and there hasn't been a huge incentive to actually even put in the effort to run group stuff. It's just more trouble than it's worth. So we'll see what that happens. But we get 2 more fail hammers. They didn't give us accessory hammers, and most people are working like top end people working on Debrekas. So the hammer of loyalties are useless. I'll probably keep them, and when I hit Tet on the Awakening Blackstar, next time I do an enhancing session on it, I'll probably smack them with the hammers and see if they'll go to pen. And then I'll be done with the Sovereign weapons because there's only main hand and Awakening. There isn't even a sub weapon Sovereign yet. So there's no plans to release it either. They'll probably come up with one. The 10 years outfit box is nice. I don't know when these Heidel Ball things kick in, the special login rewards. I haven't seen it yet. So that's all I really got, and that's kind of my initial reaction. I want to see more RPG elements out of this. That's my overall take. Life skilling needs a little bit of help. My hands are not going to, like, they've been fine, but I haven't played BDO since I put out the video complaining about it. I have not grinded at all. The only thing that I have done is I've set, oops, I hit the F key. That's not good. You can notice I'm at 641 energy. I've been pushing through knowledge stuff. I've been finishing up ecologies and characters. So what do I have left? I'm missing 2 character in max energy, which is the Papua Crinia. I need to go through and do the Lamut gang to unlock that. I gotta do the adventure journal Lamut gang thing to unlock the Papua Crinia line stuff, and then I'll get the 2 energy from that. I'm missing 6 energy out of ecology, which is the ecology of Odalita and the ecology of Mountain of Eternal Winter, because Ulakita doesn't really give you energy. So yeah. Your max energy is 700 total. So you're getting 10 from titles, or 8 from titles, and 692 from everything else. Let me bring up titles. I'm at 785, which means I have 6 max energy. I can get 2 more if I hit 1500 titles, so I'm about a little over halfway on that. So I'm missing 2 from titles, 2 from characters, and 6 from ecology. That means I'm missing 10, right? And I'm missing 49 from adventure logs. I've got 1 in Calpheon logs, which is going to be the Marnies. I've got quite a few of these Marnies Greatstones left to do. So my max energy I'm going to be able to get is probably 689. I'm going to be missing 11, 48 more from adventure logs. We'll see. I need to finish Valencia, Kama Sylvia, Morning Light Tales, travel logs, Odalita logs, Great Ocean logs, and Ulakita logs. And I don't have much to go on some of those. Like I said, I got a few. Morning Light takes up quite a few. Valencia, I don't have many. Kama Sylvia, I don't have too many. I've got some. I'm trying to work on that. But most of this stuff is quests, so I'm going to have to do some questing. But I need to push out the other 48 energy from those, and then I'll be to a point where I'm almost max energy pool. And then the last 10 or 11 will be just slow going, working on it. But that's what I've been working on. But I haven't been grinding, and my hands have been fine. So I've come to the conclusion that I just really can't grind a huge amount. I don't even have an hour of grinding in me, to be honest. We need to go to master. Let me do this one while I'm thinking about it. Cooking, mastery. And I can turn into 25 of these a day. And I forgot to turn the quest in after I did it yesterday, so that's fun. I make about 260 a day from it. And of course, it won't let me, so I have to change characters and change it back because Imperial doesn't reset like it's supposed to. Sorry. throat's really starting to kick in, so I probably will wait and record Pacifist tomorrow, and we'll go from there. But the idea is to push my energy pool as high as I can, and then life skill my way to wherever I need to go, because I cannot grind. Now, as far as items that I have to get for that I'm gonna have to grind for, Deberekas, I'll just do attempts on those. They'll be few and far between. I probably need to grind a little bit of Star's End when I can, because I need the pin disto. My gear goals short term, well, I guess short and long term, now that things have come out, and so it says 180, but you get increased from your mastery, so it's actually like 260 or whatever. I always take the milk from this quest. It's a daily quest. And then we got Dollar Shane, so I'm just increasing value.
I have no time.
Cool. Processing success rate. I'll just grind that down because I don't need it. But short-term combat gear goals, I want to push the Debereka necklace to pin, and then I want to get a Tet Debereka earring to replace one of these distos, and then I want to push the disto to pin. And that's going to leave me the belt and the 2 rings that I got to work on for Devos. I'll have a pen necklace, and I'll push the disto earring to pen, and then I'll have the Tet earring that's Debereka, and then I'll get a Tet belt, and then 2 Tet rings, and then all I'll have to do is push them in the pen. By that time, the primordial weapons will have been out, and I'll already have gotten one of those, and then I need to push the Black Star, second Black Star to pen, and then I'll have both of those. Still waiting on Ader's shoes I need to grind out. Boots RC10, I just need to go get the flame. And then I push the rest of those to try. And then we'll pretty well be at cap. I mean, I can push the armor to Tet, I guess. And then it's just finishing up all the pen devos. But the grind for those is just so terrible. I've actually stopped even fishing. I'm just running training books. I quit doing that for the second just so that I could let me re-equip that. Just so that I could turn in my daily stuff, but I'm running full combat stuff, and I'm trying to push to...
A lot of stuff. Leave it with me. Within your allowed space, of course.
Cool. I'm trying to push to level 64 here on the wizard without actually grinding any more than I have to, because I said the hands are just not going to do it. It makes me so upset that I'm just physically not able to. And I realize that, I mean, it is what it is. And I never had a problem grinding before, but I didn't play combat. Like action combat. I played tab target games. I played Last Chaos. I was able to grind for hours on end because it's hitting only a few buttons and I don't have to do a ton of combination keys.
Wherever you go.
I played Perfect World. I switched to Forsaken World, and Forsaken World was like my game. Like, I enjoyed that game above all else. Until the devs ran it into the ground. Actually, it wasn't even the developers, it was freaking Perfect World Entertainment, and they've changed names multiple times. They got bought out, and the game has since closed. But I think there's probably some private servers floating around, but what's the point, you know? But that was my game, and that's what I... that's what I did, tab target. Now, if another huge tab target game comes out, I can't use books here. So what we're going to do is we'll use one of these 10 hours. I've got 17 of each of them. And we're going to turn this on so that it can use the 3 combat scrolls that I'm using, 300s. 600s and blessed message scrolls. I got tons of blessed message scrolls, 500 of them, and then these 600s you just combine the daily ones that you get from the combat. These are the life ones, but you get the mercenary ones. You can combine them. Plus, I've got the 30% Crow's Insignia. I got the 400% artifact. My crystals give me another 300%. I'm missing one because I don't have a Garmoth. And I could put on a what's that called? The other stone. This one. Takros and get another 50, but eh. I guess I could and just let it run, but I'm not going to get much out of that. This is just AFK training. Every 3 hours I get... Well, you can see I've went up quite a bit. I'm at 44.8 after an hour. I'll be at probably 45 something. We'll see. It's slow going, but it saves my hands. I want to be level 64, and we're having a 1000% XP event going on. So the last thing I want to do before I end this off, before my voice goes completely out. If there's another big target game that comes out and it proves to be good and it has the depth that Black Desert has, I really love the life skilling aspect, and I'm getting back to that. That's what I started the channel for, was life skilling and just character progression using unconventional ways. And I've kind of gotten away from that just because enhancing Black Stars pushed my channel so high, and doing enhancing and getting caught up in progress pushed me far, and it made a lot of you all that listen to my stuff find me, because people like to watch you enhance. They like to watch failure as much as success, and it is something satisfying about seeing you make your goals after struggling. You know, it makes it worthwhile. But I also really enjoy all the life skills, and I want to get back to doing that. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Save my hands so I can keep making content. That being said, I've been looking at Guild Wars 2. I know it doesn't pull views, and it's probably not the best interest of my channel, but I'm curious on anybody that watches it, what your thoughts on Guild Wars 2 is. I quit playing it before because the Elementalist turned into exactly what Black Desert Combat is. Too many APMs. If I was to play with Guild Wars 2, I would start over with a different character and run through everything and just play the game and have fun. I don't own all the expansions, but I would buy them if I was going to do that. If that's something that sounds interesting to you all that view my channel a lot, well, let me know. Leave a comment and let me know, because it's more of a casual game, and the combat is kind of eh, but I've always liked the storytelling in Guild Wars 2, and I only played up through like part of the first expansion. I didn't even play the other ones, and I own them, I just never did play them. But the storytelling was, and the world just feels, yeah, the graphics aren't as realistic as Black Desert's. It's just a different style altogether, but the world just feels like an MMORPG, you know. It's just like the fantasy, just feels like the games of old that I miss so much. But the depth just isn't there, you know. The crafting and stuff, the gear grind isn't necessarily like Black Desert. It's just different. I just hope that Pearl Abyss takes Black Desert in a way that lets me stay here, you know. I'm not one of those that will give ultimatums or do that kind of thing. Oh, well, if I don't see this, I'm gonna quit. No, I just want to enjoy the game, you know. And it's sad when the most fun I've had out of the game recently is doing bartering stuff and working on my ships and working on my horses. I don't enjoy the combat anymore. And part of that's my fault, my physical inability to do it. It just makes my wrists and hands hurt. That's my fault, you know. That isn't the game's fault. But what is the game's fault is that it's just every hour I put in and I get absolutely nothing out of it. Now, I've put like 50, at this point it's probably at least 50, 60 hours over at Histria, and I have yet to even see a Vodkin piece for the compass. I understand they're rare, but holy crap. Every hour that I go over there and I get absolutely nothing. Like it was that way with the potion pieces when I grinded them out. I went 4 and 5 hours at a time and I didn't even get a pity piece. And you get other people that are dropping these things like crazy, you know, like the full pieces and stuff, and it's just like, it's just RNG is just a fickle thing, and it makes things unenjoyable. I am perfectly okay with the carrot process. Yeah, sometimes the dailies get annoying, but that is how the game should be in most aspects. Give us a guaranteed progression. Stop making everything all about RNG. That's a very mobile style of thinking, you know, gotcha games and stuff, and I hate it. I don't mind grinding things out. I don't mind doing dailies. I don't mind even just grinding for certain items, but whenever you have some RNG, you have an RNG system that feeds into an RNG system for a chance at an RNG system. By that time you've hit the RNG roll about 14 different times. It's not fun anymore. We can still have character, a mountain to climb, the progress mountain, and the progress curve can still maintain itself while using a different style of system, and that's what I was hoping that they would kind of go to with some of these catch-up things, but instead they're just going to give away a free pen Black Star and catch a lot of people up, and that's fine, they need to catch up, but I still think it's a band-aid on a bullet hole. You know, the system is a little broken and it needs to be addressed, not just hand out free stuff. So, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for listening. Sorry that I've been skimping on the pacifist content recently. I wanted to try and let my voice rest, and I had some other stuff I had to get done, but I'll pick it back up tomorrow, as my voice willing. Now, if I wake up and sound like I swallowed 3 frogs and can't hardly talk, then I'll just put out a post on the community thing saying that it's gonna have to wait until my voice is back, but I don't usually lose my voice, it just hurts to talk. Like, I've been ignoring my throat hurting for like 30 minutes now, just to get this out. But I appreciate all the views, all the kind comments, likes. I even appreciate the dislikes. I get it. You know, not everybody likes everything, and that's perfectly okay. I use it as a meter. If I get too many dislikes, I can still see them. If I get too many, then I adjust, and try and make my stuff a little more enjoyable. But I was gonna put a video out on the Saturday when it came out, but I was in a really bad humor about everything that I saw, and I wanted some time to digest it before I gave my full opinion. I didn't want to just have a bad reaction. So there it is. That's what I got, and we'll see if any of you guys agree or if I'm just being stupid and stubborn, and we'll leave it at that. So hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you have a good time with it, whatever endeavors you may have. But as always, until next time.